about issues with me and things I've seen with others. We need to come together and start complaining, because this mistreatment, this patient abuse has to stop. But because I haven't filmed it, I don't have it on camera, and no one's coming forth as a witness, I don't have a case. You know, and I'm just getting very tired. I'm getting very tired. I can't even go to the VA for my care. You know, having issues, I need to see a doctor, but I'm not going because it's just unsafe for me there. And Baltimore, I went there, and they're just as rude and disrespectful. I hadn't been up Martinsburg, and that's like 2.5 hours away.
But my question to you is, if you can't go to Martinsburg, if you can't go to, if they have a flag on you, does that affect your care at Martinsburg?
I don't know. And the thing about the flag is they have yet to tell me that I have a flag. I happened to find out on My Healthy Vet. I went and read my records on My Healthy Vet, and there it was. Then when I went to the VA a couple times after that, it popped up. You know, because I already have a suicidal flag, and I have that flag. And then there's another flag you get when you outspoken like me and start reporting. So that's another thing you want to watch out for too. So this is why a lot of veterans don't come forward, because of the intimidation and the what they call it when they harass you and all this.
They create I know one thing I'd like to call it is a hostile work environment.
That too, but the retaliation is
retaliation.
What you get.
Okay,
you get retaliated against. You really do. You get retaliated against in a bad way. And I mean, because the police is still harassing me. If I sat in the hospital by myself long enough, they're gonna put me out. They've done it, and they've done it a couple months ago, and I don't know. I believe they might be following me. I don't know, but it's just unsafe. But then they pass this information to other VAs. So this is why veterans do not come forward with issues like this, because of the retaliation. And it's always going to be found that there's no wrong action of their staff. It's always going to be against us. We don't have people representing us. We have no vote. DAV is a major organization, but they don't deal with issues of this nature. It's too probably beneath them. I don't know. Because I've tried to go to people within the DAV. Of course, they shut the door in my face. You know. But I don't know where else to go. I don't. Maybe I need to do a congressional. I don't know. I'm going to try a congressional on this issue and see what happens with that, because it's just really, it's like a kick in my face as a veteran, female at that. And we already treated like second-class citizens. And Lord help you if you're not a combat veteran, you really in the ocean. So I'm just, I just wanted to share this story because
it's important. The thing about it is, we keep talking about the women's veterans issues.
Nobody wants to do anything.
And nobody wants to do anything. It's almost to the point, I'm willing to say that it's deliberate indifference. Because the end fact is, when we bring this to their attention, nothing's changing. Nothing has changed. In the years since we have started, they have say that they're trying to address the issue, but people are dying.
They kept talking about it they was talking about it on Congress. They was talking about women's issue, but they didn't go in no depth of women's issue. Even DAV didn't go in no depth on women. All they used the word was women's issue. Instead of discussing some of the issues. What is our plan to make it better for women? That never came up. So really no one's really taking women veterans to issues that seriously. From what I'm seeing, and the evidence is what I got to go by. And so they're talking about it more, but no action. It's just lip service.
Now, see, one of the things that we're looking at here in the nation's capital, you have a woman veteran coming in, and all of this happens because she simply asked for a female technician to take a chest x-ray. Now, this is what causes such an outburst. This is outrageous. This should not be occurring. And when you bring it to the face of Congress, we have to begin to understand what has actually happened here, because nothing's happened. Nothing has happened. It's almost as though it's deliberate indifference, because 7 out of 10 VAs don't have this going on. And for this to be the nation's capital, this should be the very model of what the nation should be. The very fact of the matter that you are in-house in the federal government, we need to be able to have access to quality care. Women here just got a new clinic. But don't show up at night. Don't show up at night after normal business hours if you're with a problem. Don't come in there at night expecting that you should have humane treatment because you are uncomfortable around men and don't want to show your breasts for a man. This is not a sexual encounter. This is not something that should be looked at. And because the very fact of the matter is, as a human being, we're all entitled to a certain amount of privacy within our... So,
Go ahead.
So this is a major issue that we're talking about here that has to be done. Now, these issues, when Congress goes to give discussion and different things, can be found on the Daily Digest of Congress. If you want to find out what's going on in Congress, just check out the Daily Congressional Digest. But the bottom line is that we're all too busy to check out what's happening out of Congress because we have lives going on. We do have lives. And this, I'm not faulting anybody, but the fact of the matter is they depend on you being distracted.
But you don't know what you're looking at anyway.
Well, and that's why we have to talk about these things and make things happen and begin to see what's what, to understand what's going on. Because the whole issue is, even though the doors are open, secrets are hidden in plain sight right at the Congressional Library, there at your fingertips. No, I'm just saying, some of the things on here that they hide in plain sight.
Okay, but it hasn't...
but unless you go look, unless you know what you're looking for,
there you go.
You don't know what's going on because we are distracted by our daily lives. And you can't tell me that the Founding Fathers didn't see this coming, because Jefferson, in his insight, broke up his books in science and imagination and memories. And so the end problem is that when you talk about this, you don't see the ongoing process of what government control actually does. This Congressional Library covers vastly many topics, but the thing about it is that it does affect us. And we have to have the understanding, the capability of bringing back the issues. See, because the actions were accounted for in the early rudiments of government, according to the science of Mr. Jefferson. Back then, books were TV, and his famous saying is that I cannot live without books. So we don't read anymore. And it takes shows like America's Disabled Veterans to bring forward issues such as our veterans' issues, to bring it forward, to make sure that we have more and honest information from the accounting of Congress. That accounting of Congress would be one that includes covering women's issues, because we have to have women's issues. I'm going to take a moment here because I have to try to bring on a guest to stay with you until I can get a guest to bring this in. Now, the end result of it is, folks, if you don't think that the government has thought of an idea or something like that, all you have to do is consider that our government maintains the largest library in the world. Okay? Now, maybe you don't understand what that's about, but when you break down the word government, it means, gov means to govern, to control, and ment comes from the mind. Control of mind through disciplines, through the 16 virtues of civic duty. Something that we're not aware of in this country anymore, but the end result of it is that we have to do what we can to make it a better society.
Finish? You're not talking?
I'm sitting because I'm getting the 16 virtues of civic duty, because I'm talking about it. I didn't drop it, Marilyn. I'm in the middle of explaining it. The end result of it is that there's 6 virtues of civic duty that have to take place. We have a responsibility as veterans to bring forward these issues on behalf of women veterans. You know, we have women veterans that are tired of waiting. You hear what I'm dealing with in the background because there is a woman here that is tired. This woman has filed complaints about mistreatment, of how she's dealt with, how she's disrespected, and she will give her heart to veterans. Now that to me tells me that her heart is in the right place. But now the problem here is that we as veterans are so distracted with our lives that we can't understand that our Congress continues to appropriate VA budgets that leave veterans, especially women veterans, twice measured and wanting. Anyway, we have to do what we can to remember the 16 duties of civic virtues. Now, I'm trying to just a minute. Let me see if I can find a breakdown of it. Now, but we have to do what we can to make sure that we do all that can be done. Because if we don't do what we can do. Now, what are civic virtues? It's the cultivation of habits of personal living that are claimed to be important for the success of the community. A civic virtue is also dedicated to the citizens, to the common welfare of the community, even at the cost of their individual interests. Identification of the traits that are characteristic as civic virtue has been a major concern of political philosophy. The term civility refers to behavior between persons and groups that conforms to social mode that is in accordance with civil society as itself being a foundation principle of society and law. Republican virtue. Civic virtues have been historically taught as a matter of chief common concern in the nations under republican forms of government, societies, and cities. When the final decision on matters is made by a monarch, it is the monarch's virtues which influence those decisions. The broader class of people become decision makers, and it's their virtue which characterizes the types of decisions made. we are talking